Good day everyone, so hope you're all doing really well. Why aren't there more male characters in Genshin? Well, we'll try and not answer that question today, but rather talk about the optics of the situation. So with the lolly army here in the background beating the abyss for our entertainment, let's get into giving you a non-answer, because that is what YouTubers like me typically try and do. Okay, so the first thing is when you look at Genshin Impact, we started off, because I'm a 1.0 player, we started off with a relatively balanced roster, and over time you got fewer male characters, fewer male 5 stars, and even the male 4 stars that do release are significantly underpowered. It's not like they've got a very strong niche, like if you think of Chevreuse, or you think of like Yansan. These are very good examples of great 4 stars that the game has released. So what is really happening? Is it a case of male characters not selling well? Is it because being male does not sell well? No, not really. I mean, I think if we look at a game like Love and Deep Space, it's clear that males only can sell, and Tears of Femis also proves the opposite, that males only are not necessarily going to sell. In other words, it's almost as if it's all about the marketing. It's all about what the company strategically thinks is going to make the most sense. And I hate giving that answer, but honestly, if you think about it, the company best knows, because they've got the literal data on their records, what their player audience is like. They know what the male to female ratio of their player base is like when it comes to the engagements on social media. So from my perspective, it's not so much whether there are male or not females, it's just a case of the company is trying to optimize for what they think, and what they think is going to sell might not always be the most logical thing. So companies also do mess up, let's be honest on that. And I think that's my kind of corporate view of it. It's not that Genshin doesn't want to sell male characters, it's just that in their research or in through some metrics or perhaps interpretation of metrics, they don't think it is going to be worth it. In fact, I think they kind of had a lot of opportunities where they probably looked back at what they've done and they're like, yeah, we kind of messed up. Let me give you a good example. Capitano. If you looked at any Genshin Impact 5.0 live stream reaction, like go do yourselves a favor and look at it, whether you look at a live or some YouTubers like reacting to it, it's very obvious that when you got to the ending part of that live stream where it was Capitano versus Mavuika, everyone literally spazzed out. There was suddenly anticipation, excitement, because everything before that is, okay, here's the Traveler, here are the new characters, we're gonna go on a quest, there's gonna be some dark thing involving the Abyss, and it's just like, oh, I've kind of seen this all before. Oh, wait, Capitano, Mavuika, and it's just like, and now people literally are just freaking out, and I think that's exactly what Genshin kind of missed. They probably strategically didn't think that Capitano would do that well, but if you think of it in hindsight, get rid of Escoffier, put in Capitano, literally replicate the kit one for one, and just change the polearm to a sword, and voila! You would have the first proper off-field buffer male character that would be meta in Genshin Impact. Kind of difficult. It's crazy how kind of difficult it is for you just to make one of those. But in any case, yeah, I think Hoyo definitely missed an opportunity. They could have gotten a lot more money if they just monetized Capitano. And it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to go forward. I mean, obviously, he's not out of the story yet, but it's very, very clear that the Genshin team, and I've said this before, have their own preconceived notions as to how they want you to play the game, rather than this being a co-led game where players and developers constantly give each other feedback, we meet in the middle way, and we try and see what the best of both worlds are. However, reality doesn't work like that, and we're just stuck with what we have. Look, from my perspective, I am someone that's a waifu enjoyer. I've made, especially in the past, and yeah, even more so now, my feelings towards male characters are still the same. I really don't care for them. But the one thing that I do care about is my wallet. And what I mean by that is, if there are more male characters where I can take a break and where the release of a female character can feel more significant, that is what then I would argue for. I would then, in that sense, argue for more male characters if it can make the female character experience better. Let me quickly explain. With the character like Escoffier or that new little red-haired chick in Wuthering Waves, a lot of people would be like, well, who are you? It's the same with Veressa. Where did you come from? It's almost like you were just conveniently thought up by the developers to be the latest cash grab, and I'm supposed to be like, hey, little cash grab, how much are you going to hurt my wallet? I mean, that's just how gacha rolls. But you guys understand, from my perspective, even if there is choice, even if you've got all of these amazing waifu characters to have, the problem is, because of the nature of gacha games, the euphoria is typically short-lived, and in 6 months the waifu character that we all suddenly wanted and that the company wanted us to have, well, they're irrelevant to the story, and now we're going to move on to the next big thing. And that to me is just a shame, because I'm the type of person that likes getting into one or two characters and really getting to know those characters, understand the lore. It's almost like you want to walk that journey, but the nature of gacha says, well, even if we give you the choice, we're not going to allow you to walk the journey because we just want to monetize newer and newer characters. And unfortunately, I think that is the reality. It's not so much that male characters won't sell, it's about whatever the company wants to monetize, and the only way that can really effectively change is if there is consistent player feedback. If players literally do not spend on big waifu characters and say, hey, you know what? Thanks for the waifu character. We really appreciate it, Hoya. Thanks, you've done a great job. Awesome. But since you didn't give us male characters, we're not going to spend. And unless your player base is consistent on that, you're not going to see change. If you're going to see casters in Honkai Star Rail literally breaking spending records, if you're going to see Mavuika and Seat Lolly, double banner, the most predatory ever in Genshin history, break spending records, then obviously the signal to the gacha company is, ooh, do more of that. More female, make some compelling story, some music videos, all of these sorts of things. Just sell that character. Forget the old characters. Who the hell gives a crap about some Kokomi character? Just focus on the new. And it's exhausting. So from my perspective, the player base really needs to change. I'm happy to change from the perspective of there being more male characters in that it will allow me to save more, it will allow me to have what I currently have over choices being more meaningful. From my perspective, I will support your male cause if you're someone that likes male characters. I'll support that, but I'll support it not for the reasons, for the same reasons you are. But it is obvious from my perspective that there is a very clear discrimination between the two different types of genders in Genshin Impact, the male and the female. Right, so just to kind of wrap up this video, why aren't there more male characters? God knows why. It's up to Hoyo. I just think from a corporate perspective, they're just going on it. I do think there are missed opportunities where they could have gotten a lot more money because that's what they want. And I think if they do capitulate and give in just a bit and strategically put in some male characters, hey, Genshin Impact could be a serious money maker in the long term. Otherwise, it's going to end up like that dead game Honkai Impact Third, which unfortunately got so cash grabby, full of waifus, that even someone like myself that loves waifus just left. Because I mean, I'm sorry, the way Hoyo treated their own game like that by disrespecting their players and just ruining a story, that's something else for another day. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below. Cheers!